And welcome back. It's November, globally recognized as Diabetes Month, and to join us for a conversation about how diabetes is affecting us here in Belize, we have Mr. Anthony Castillo, who is the president of the Belize Diabetes Association, and Ms. Lisette Pren, who is a diabetic screener for the BCVI, to talk to us about Ride Out Diabetes. Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Okay.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
And thanks once again for allowing us the privilege to come on the show to discuss issues of diabetes. As you rightly said, November is the month for diabetes. This is the time of the year that we come forward and do awareness on the condition of diabetes. World Diabetes Day is celebrated each year on November 14th. For us here in Belize, we usually have 2 weeks or more of activities leading up to World Diabetes Day. This year the theme for diabetes is Eyes on Diabetes, and hence the reason we partnered with BCVI.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Not everyone automatically makes the connection between eyes and diabetes. And the fact that these two agencies have partnered for the celebration of World Diabetes Day to educate the public, it obviously shows there's something happening that we really need to know about. Why is it that this is a partnership that is relevant to persons who may potentially be at risk of diabetes and who do have diabetes?
Right. Diabetes is a condition which has many complications, and the eyes being one of them. There are times for us living with diabetes, from time to time, we do not take the time out to really check ourselves. There are times you don't feel anything, and in short time you don't see anything as well. So hence the reason we partner with BCVI to encourage persons, especially living with the condition, to get your annual check. Check your eyes and see if there's any potential damage coming up. BCVI does a very excellent job in this area. So this partnership is very crucial to us. As I said, the team is Eyes on Diabetes, and this partnership, we expect it to grow.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at statistics here in Belize. Lisette. In Belize, as it relates to eye issues, as it relates to diabetes, in Belize, what are some of the statistics in the country?
Approximately, there is an estimated amount of 26,000 people in Belize who are diagnosed with diabetes. But out of those 26,000, there are about 8,000 who are diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, which is a condition that is caused due to uncontrolled diabetes. And that's the program that we have to offer, which is a diabetic screening, in which we encourage patients to go to get your eyes screened to check if there's any changes being caused, such as bleeding, being caused by the diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, and that's where we can take initiative to help them with either preventative care, treatment, or any kind of surgery, like laser surgery, that may be needed in the case that they have any changes. It's better to know about it at an early stage than to get to know about it when it's already, when it cannot be reversed. Also, it does not mean that the patient will have a change, but it's important to get your eyes checked, right? To know what's going on. A lot of people don't know that diabetes could affect their vision, so that's what we're trying to create awareness. Just get it checked.
Yeah. Now, I think perhaps, and Mr. Cass said it, diabetes can affect the body in so many ways. And we talk about the kidneys primarily, which is a major concern. But, anecdotally, we've heard stories about persons who find out they have diabetes when they go in because they have eye problems. So what are some of the signs? I know ideally you're aiming for people to just go in for a yearly check so that they don't have diabetic retinopathy. But what are some of the signs and some of the interactions that you have in the clinic?
Some of the signs, one of the major signs would be blurriness. Most times when patients are seeing blurry and they're diabetic, that means that their glucose levels may be high. So it's important they do a glucose checkup and also do the screening.
And you have encounters where people are diagnosed because they had the retinopathy? With diabetes?
Yes, we've had some people that have been diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, and so we don't only offer the screening program, but also the secondary eye care, which is treatment or laser.
Yeah.
How early do you think persons should be aware that this might be something that is affecting them as a diabetic?
As
At
early
what-
as possible.
Once a person is diagnosed with diabetes, checking should begin immediately, right? It is stated that when a person is diagnosed with diabetes, that person have probably acquired that condition over 3 years ago, right? It's just manifesting itself at this time.
Yeah.
But it's also dubbed the silent killer because you can acquire the condition and don't know they have the condition. And many a times we do not do our yearly check, right? Just by yearly checking, yearly screening, you could pick up on the condition that's sneaking up on you.
How are, the Diabetes Association has been working tirelessly in terms of educating people on the risks associated with an unhealthy lifestyle. In other words, trying to prevent people from developing diabetes. For a while, I know you had been working a lot with children because, and you have your yearly summer camp, which is
right.
fantastic, where the kids learn how to care for themselves. How are we doing there? I remember there was once a screening in schools where you were finding out that children of primary school age were pre-diabetic for type 2,
Right.
which is lifestyle.
Exactly. Not good.
How are we doing there? How do we, are we seeing better indicators as to people taking this issue seriously?
Unfortunately, no. We still try to go into the schools. We have not been going to all the schools the way we think we should, for various reasons. But at the schools where we have children living with the condition, we ensure we go in because there have been complaints of some form of discrimination against children living with the condition. But we think this discrimination comes about by lack of information, somewhat ignorance, not knowing what diabetes is, what are some of the signs or symptoms of high sugar, low sugar. So we've been doing education basically with the children. At our camps, we do education with the children and we meet regularly through the course of the year. But what we need to do some more is to go into the schools and educate our teachers and principals and also the parents. So all parties need to do their part. The association does its part, the parent need to do their part, the school and the child, him or herself, living with the condition. So there's a great need for education to educate the general public and all the key players, right, so that there's no discrimination against our children living with the condition.
So let's talk about Ride Out Diabetes. It's an event taking place on the 4th?
12th.
The 12th of
and
November.
12th and 13th
12th and
of November.
Okay.
This is a fundraiser to create awareness on the condition of diabetes as well, and to show that exercise is also a key major factor in the condition of diabetes. Right? So at this time, we invite our cyclists. The average person could ride with us.
Anyone.
It's not a race. It's not a race. It's a ride.
Okay.
At this time, the participants come to the office and they sign up. We have a pledge form and they solicit funds on behalf of the association. If you solicit in excess of $200, you receive a jersey from the association, right? And it's a 2-day ride. And day 1, we ride from Corozal to Belize City, and on day 2, we ride from Santa Elena to Belize City. On the Corozal leg, we have 2 stops. We stop first in Orange Walk, ICB Orange Walk, then we stop at Cat's Place, then concluding at IT Vet. On the western leg, we begin in Santa Elena, ICB Santa Elena, first stop at Garbat in Roaring Creek, second stop Cheers, then Everyday Supermarket in Hattieville, concluding at IT Vet. We usually get full support from our cyclists and again inviting our cyclists to come to the office, register for those who have not registered with us. There's a small $25 fee registration and make it a worth the cost. So we create the awareness, you exercise, as I said, everybody invited to join us in the ride as well.
Which is not a race.
It's not a race.
I know you also encourage people to even join in for particular legs if they can.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yep, you can ride the entire thing. You could just ride portions. We have service vehicle, and you can be picked up, put back in the race as you see it fit. We also will conclude our 17 days of activities with a health fair on November 14th, which is World Diabetes Day. All our partners who offer goods and services to persons living with diabetes will be there to display their goods and service. And this will be held at Battlefield Park on November 14th from 9 to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, Lisette, what are some of the other ways that the BCVI is partnering with the
well, we're partnering with them and trying to attend all the possible events we can to promote what is the effect of diabetes on your eyes and your vision.
Yeah.
We've been to the different news sessions. We're gonna be at the fair to promote our services. We were at the fair, at the prior fair held last week to also emphasize on a bit on diabetes and just go along with the with the program. Also, it's not just now, November. What we're trying to get to people is just create the awareness now, but also to continue with their checkups, to continue with trying to control the diabetes, knowing about it, how it can affect them, and what they can do to encourage others to do the same, right?
What we also do is there are times when persons come to BCVI to get their eyes checked, and they're diagnosed with diabetes, so they're referred to our association. The time they come to us because they're diagnosed with diabetes, and we refer them to BCVI to get their eyes checked as well. So it's a two-way partnership, right?
Now the challenge I know with diabetic retinopathy is that you can really find out when it's too late and it's not reversible, right?
Yes.
So let's just go through once again. We always use the opportunity to educate people. Signs of diabetes, and we can also talk about signs of diabetes in your eyes as well, right? So let's talk, when do you go in? Oh, I know your recommendation is how often do you get a glucose test? This is how out of, I may be due for one now.
If you're not living with a condition, at least twice a year.
Okay.
Because it's double, as I said, silent killer. You could acquire a condition and you don't know. So at least twice a year. If you're living with a condition, then you need to test a little bit more frequently, so you could keep your sugar under control. There's also a test called A1C test, which is done every 3 months to see where your sugar levels have been over the past 3 months, right?
That's to see if people only go to the doctor when their sugar is under control.
Exactly. for those who like to cheat, that will get you guys. It states where your sugar have been over the past 3 months. Some of the telltale signs for diabetes would be frequent urination, going to the bathroom a lot, dehydration, drinking a lot of water, fluids, right? But so you consume the fluid, you go to the bathroom. Loss of weight without even trying, right? Sores, ulcers that take forever to heal, right? If you have family member who are living with a condition, then you too again is at risk for diabetes. If you're overweight, then you're also at risk for diabetes, right? For some persons, blurry vision, you begin with blurry vision, and they think that they're having an eye problem, so they go to the eye doctor, and just to find out that it's diabetes, because of the high level of glucose in the blood, it gives you the blurry vision, right? And it goes on from there. Right? So
what are some of the misconceptions about diabetes? I know that a lot of people think that it's only a hereditary disease, but it's something that you can develop.
Absolutely.
What are some of the misconceptions that you'd like the public?
Or that you must be overweight and eat a lot of sugar.
Right. There are so many myths about diabetes. Let me go into the types of diabetes. We have type 1 diabetes, which is usually found in children and young adults, right? In this case, the young person is born with the condition. The pancreas is not making any insulin at all. And the treatment for this is direct insulin. So once a person is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, he or she is placed on insulin at this time forever, because there's no cure for diabetes. Right. And as I said, it's found in children and young adults.
And exercise. Healthy lifestyle.
Healthy lifestyle, right.
For both.
Right. Then you go into type 2 diabetes, which is found in mostly older persons. It's a lifestyle condition. You develop the condition based on what you do and don't do it yourself. You're not eating healthy, you can develop the condition. If you're overweight, you could develop the condition. It can be hereditary, as I said earlier. So that's type 2 diabetes. Then we have women who develop diabetes during pregnancy, and that is called gestational diabetes as well. But those are about the three main types of diabetes. What they say.
And it's not just because you eat a lot of sugar,
No,
Right.
it's not.
right?
Not
It's an
necessarily so.
unhealthy diet in general that can
Exactly.
make you more prone.
And what another myth is that, as you said, a lot of sugar. But if you carbohydrates, all carbohydrates and starches turn sugar in the body. So you may not be drinking soft drink, you're not eating all the sweets, but you're consuming loads of carbohydrates or starches, which convert to sugar in the system, right? And again, you could also
And
develop
carbohydrates are breads and our rice.
Or regular rice and beans.
Yes, that's right. So
I was speaking with the guys just before we came on set, and they were talking about sweet, the intake of sweet, right? So I said to them, there are no bad foods. It's just portion size.
That's right.
Right, portion size. But for us living with a condition, once you develop the condition, we also ask that you be in contact with a nutritionist, right? He or she can help you set what you need to consume. No bad foods, just portion size.
Reasonable goals.
yeah.
Right, exactly.
Now, Lisette, let's talk about the recommendation you said is once a year for persons
Yes.
who are diagnosed with diabetes to come and check their eyes.
Yes.
Are there any emergency scenarios? Perhaps somebody who is diabetic never checked their eyes and they're having problems. What are some of the things that you would tell them?
Well, to come in immediately for their checkup. And if the person is seen with some major change, we would immediately refer them to our specialist ophthalmologist or to anyone, any doctor who can help them with the condition they're at. When at the point where it is irreversible, there's not much that can be done. However, that person will want counseling. Also, another thing would be to still try to control the lifestyle to maintain probably the little vision that they still have, and also serve as a mentor to others not to go through the same
Yeah.
problem.
So you can catch it early and not
Yes.
be blinded by it.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to get at. Try to prevent it for it not to lead to blindness, because diabetes can lead to blindness.
Yeah.
And so far at BCVI, we have 3 cameras through the Lions International Foundation and the Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee Trust. We were able to get 3 cameras to screen patients. We have one here in Belize City, one up north in Orange Walk, and one that is shared down south between PG and Langrega. So it's accessible to the public.
So if somebody wants to go in and get screened for diabetic retinopathy, they go to the BCVI clinic here in Belize. Where else do they go?
To Orange Walk, the clinic in Orange Walk, which is right like behind the main hospital, the Northern Regional, and then there's the 2 clinics at PG, one at PG and one at Langrega. So they go to their nearest clinic. They can just call, make an appointment, or walk in to get their test done, and it's free of cost. So there's no excuse.
We have a diabetes meeting every 3rd Saturday of the month at ITVET, and I'm inviting general public to come and join us. A misconception and a comment comes ever so often, and my colleague will be able to speak on it. They will come and say, well, I had bleeding behind my eyes and they lasered my eyes, but my vision have not improved. Right, that's a misconception. If you have bleeding behind your eyes, they do lasering to stop the bleeding, but not necessarily to improve the vision. So
Once diabetes has affected your eyes.
Yes, once it's there, it's there. All you can do is stop what's happening then, for it not to continue and make your vision worse. But that does not mean that you will recover your vision. You will just try to keep the vision that you have.
And it can happen at any stage, at any age.
At any stage. Yeah, exactly.
Especially if your sugar level is not in control.
Right.
Right, yeah. There's a high chance to have the bleeding behind the eyes.
That's why we check our eyes, we eat healthy, and we exercise. And the Ride Out Diabetes is one opportunity to remind people about getting out and exercising.
Precisely
The
so.
registration, let's just go through the information for the ride. It's going to be the 12th and 13th.
12th and 13th, right.
So where do people register?
Our office located corner Central American Boulevard on Mahogany Street, and we're open from Monday to Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. So come by and get registered and join us to the ride. What we'll also be doing this Saturday, we will be offering free glucose testing at Michael Finnegan Market.
Oh.
Yeah, from 6 in the morning. So we'll be there. So while people are doing their shopping for their healthy fruits and vegetables, just come and get tested at the same time. Right?
All right. So you can be able to get your test at the Michael Finnegan Market. The health fair, when is that going to be?
November 14th.
November 14th.
Next Monday.
At
the Battlefield Park.
At the Battlefield Park. And I'm sure you can get your glucose test there as well.
Exactly, from 9 to 3.
Lots of opportunities. We hope people take advantage of it. Of course, the ride takes place next week. Register, get your pledge form. If it's over $200, you get a free jersey.
Exactly.
And you don't have to worry about keeping up with the pack because it is a leisurely ride and there's support along the way. All right. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you too.
All right. We're going to go ahead now and take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking to representatives of the Mexican Embassy about celebrating Dia de los Muertos. Stay tuned.